Alrighty, so I think probably 8 days ago, but 7 days ago, I started a challenge of kind of disconnecting from all like kind of social medias and stuff like that, and I want to share how it went. It's currently February 2nd at 9:19 p.m. and I've decided to set myself a little challenge. For the next 7 days, I'm not going to be consuming online content. Starting off, the parameters for this challenge are going to be the obvious: no YouTube, Instagram, Reddit, Tumblr, Pinterest, whatever platform is out there that I could consume content on is not going to be allowed. What is allowed are the things that I don't have a problem with, but what I'm going to make sure of is that I'm not just abusing these as substitutes for the other. So something like Netflix, like yes, I can watch a show, I can watch a movie. Because of how I've always used them, those feel much more productive to me. I'm actually going through stories and everything. But again, it has to be focused consumption, I guess. I can't sit and binge a series without paying attention to it or scrolling on my phone. It's like, if I'm going to watch a movie, I'm going to watch a movie. If I'm watching a show, I'm going to watch a show and not watch 35 episodes in a single day. Another thing that is allowed is internet searches. But the requirement is that it's almost like a pre-planned search. I can't just spend 100 hours searching different things related to the same topic. Yeah, so the reason that I wanted to do this challenge was, I've done them a couple of times before just personally, but I wanted to kind of almost, I guess, document or have something to keep me accountable. This time, like, I almost always complete them, but I wanted to actually like do this to stick with it. And the reason that I do them occasionally is because I always notice that the more that I'm using like Instagram and Reddit and whatever services or whatever platforms, the worse that I feel, and like the less that I actually do, and the less energy or motivation or anything that I have to actually like do big things that I like doing, but then also little things. Like, I enjoy playing video games, I enjoy watching movies, I want to do the dishes, and like having a clean space, but the more that I'm like doom scrolling and rotting my brain rotting on these platforms, it's like I just don't have it. It's not necessarily that I can't by any means, but it's just like, it's almost like, you know, you get caught in the cycle and then your brain just tells you like, yeah, why play a video game when we can get just as much, we can be just as happy just scrolling through YouTube or whatever. And yeah, so that's kind of why I do them, because I feel worse when I do it, and just that, like, I know that I feel worse when I do them, when I am using it a lot, but it still doesn't stop me from using it. So I'm trying to have a documented, like, you feel better when you're not doing it, so stop doing it. But yeah, so starting with day 1. So we're through the first 12 hours or so. Granted, I was asleep for about 8 of them, but as expected, extremely easy. Nothing's even cropped up or anything. But what I think is going to be, I think what's important today and whatnot is just, or what's important in general, is these first 3 days and making sure that there's no corner cutting, there's no anything, and just setting the tone in these first 3 days. The other thing I think is going to be very important is almost getting used to or getting comfortable with sitting and doing nothing in that little between periods, I guess. If I don't have the energy to jump into a task, I'm not just wasting 3 hours, because that's what I need. Because I don't need that. To just sit. If I don't have the energy to do something, just sit and not do something for 5 minutes and then figure out where I want to go from there. So I think that's what's going to be very important for this. Alright, so day 1 is completely done and completed. And honestly, it went about exactly how I expected it to go. Overall, it was really easy. There was, because I was paying attention to it, there was a couple moments, when I just finished something and I just wanted to turn my brain off or rot for a bit, where I was like feeling like, damn, I really want to, throw on a video or just kind of do whatever and not think right now. But didn't get into it at all. It was just like noticed it and found it funny because it's like, oh, I can actually feel the physical, mental feeling of wanting to. But it was really easy to ward it off. I think I absentmindedly went to Reddit once and closed it before it even opened because I wasn't paying attention. But other than that, really, really easy, and it's going exactly how I expected it to. So hopefully tomorrow will be as easy. If not, tomorrow will probably be the hardest day of the week. I had that kind of, the only way I can describe it is like a magnet, or like a little pop-up in your brain. It's just like, oh, but you could be doing this, or like, you finish whatever, you get out of class, you get off of work, whatever, and you're just like, oh, I just kind of want to sit down and watch a YouTube video, just one, or I just want to, scroll for 5 minutes while I wait for my food to heat up or whatever, or just while I eat. So I had that a little bit, but it was really easy to push those away and be like, no, this is stupid. And it was also really easy to kind of do other things. So like I studied a bit, I think I read a little bit, journaled a little bit, just like actually good, healthy things. And then came day 2. Yeah, so at the start of day 2, and I can't really get a read on how today's gonna go yet, because upon first thing in the morning, it was actually really tough. I think partly because it's very cold. It is freezing, actually, and even with the heat turned up, it is freezing in here, and so I think I didn't want to get up and didn't really have anything to do, but got through it. At worst, I checked the weather, and then, after getting up, I made sure to try to do something that would give some dopamine or something that wasn't screen related, and it seemed to have worked, and now I feel pretty good with it. So I think today's gonna be up in the air, but I don't know how it's gonna go yet, but we'll see. It's normally 50-50 on day 2, if it's gonna be really hard or really, really easy. But this time, I don't think it was the worst, but it also wasn't the easiest, and it was like my brain was being maliciously cooperative, or it was like, maybe it was just that I had been using it so much that my dopamine sensitivity was really low, or it took more, I guess high, because it took more, and so when I wasn't getting that constant drip feed, I was just really low, and was just meh, and couldn't really get going, and it kind of, I didn't feel it was just kind of that, can't really get going, I'm in a rut, and nothing feels good, and there's a little bit of that pull to just check it. Alright, so today was an interesting one. It was a little different than I was expecting, but also still within the ballpark of what seemed possible to show up, because it was less so like day one's, like, how do you say, just like, oh yeah, I want to do it right now. I want to just watch something right now. It was less of that and more the, it was almost like my brain was being like maliciously compliant. Or it was like, okay, you don't want to do this, then you don't want to do anything. And then, like, once I would get up or once I would like push through that and just do something, no matter what it was like easy to focus on it and easy to stay with it and really like get into things. But it was like that between part was very difficult to get through. It was also interesting because it was a lot of more of the like, oh, you know, the challenge is stupid, why are you even doing it kind of voice, which, if I'm not mistaken, is basically just the voice that like is trying to break through you so it can get what it wants, which in this case is just that nice, easy, happy brain chemical. The junk food, the junk food brain chemicals or whatever. So I think that's what it was doing today, which was interesting, but hopefully today is like the worst of that, and then tomorrow it eases off. Alright, so day 3 is off to a much better start. Nice clear head, nice even sleep. Feel very, very good. So as long as it keeps kind of like this, or even 75-80% of this, we should be in a very good spot. By day 3 and 4, it was like the pull towards like watching YouTube or like Instagram or anything like that was pretty much gone, which was nice but on the other hand, the pull to like still check my laptop or check my phone or Google something was still there, and I don't know if it was just like, and I wasn't too strict on those, like, I would check messages, I would Google questions and stuff like that, which I should have been a little bit better about, but they were a bit, the internet or screen checking draw was still there, but the YouTube, Instagram, just sit and rot draw wasn't. Alright, so today was definitely by far the easiest day. Like, it started out good, it continued good, there was no want or anything, like the first day, like where even it was just like a feeling that I noticed that I had. I think the adjustments slowly kicking in, and so I'm kind of hoping that like for the rest of this it'll stay the same and it won't be like yesterday. Obviously I have to wait and see, but I think it's on the up, and as long as I get some okay sleep tonight, I think it should stay on the up. Alright, so I did miss a day of updates, but today went really well in terms of all of the, how do you say, the challenge kind of stuff, and it's almost to the point where I'm not even really thinking about the challenge itself. Like, overall I feel a lot better. Not brain rotting every day. I feel like my motivation and my, like, being able to put my full interest and focus into things is back, or coming back, and I have more of a drive to do the things that I like, in general, and then when I do those things, they're even more fun or more enjoyable to do, and there's not really any draw or pull to getting back on YouTube or scrolling on Instagram. Like, I think today there was a brief, maybe 20-minute period where I kind of wanted to watch something, but even then, when it was like I wanted to watch something, it was like, oh, you could throw on like an episode of something on Netflix and then go do something else. So overall, I think it's going well. In today's more 5 and 6, it was kind of strange because it was like what I wanted to do changed, So I did play a bit more of like games and everything like that, but it wasn't much by any means. And then it's like I ended up like watching a little bit of stuff, but it's like, I'd pull up Hulu or Netflix and I'd watch an episode, maybe two, but that was kind of it, which made it's like I would watch an episode or two and then I would get off and go and do something else. Alright, so initially when I got up today, I felt like it was going to be very, very easy, not thinking much of it, but as the day has progressed a little bit, I started to realize like, oh, this is like one of those, I guess, dangerous days, where because it's been easy and because I'm not thinking about it and because it's just kind of been a part of what I've been doing, it's actually really easy to slip up in other ways. Like, maybe I'm not using Instagram, or maybe I'm not using all the other stuff that I've cut off, but it's like, oh, I'm on my calendar a lot, or I'm checking my phone a lot, which is not as bad, but it's still not great. So, gonna have to focus back in a little bit and make sure that I'm not just using my phone or constantly being drawn to check my phone, even if I'm not breaking the rules. But yeah, hopefully now that I've noticed, it'll be a little bit easier. Alright, well that's another day done, and basically almost done with the first 7 days. And it feels pretty good. Yeah, it feels pretty good overall. I mean, again, it was just the thing I was talking about earlier with the, like, it's like I'm not losing this challenge by any means, because I'm not breaking any of the rules that I had set, and not really even feeling a need to, but, it's like, if I want to, I would not be mad if every day, like, I'd feel really good if every day was like this, but, because it's like, or like, being a bit productive, getting out the house on a day off, everything like that. But it's like, if I wanted to take it to the next level, there's some pretty easy spots that I can point out and be like, this is like, even though I'm not brain rotting and I'm actually being productive in some capacity, it's like, I could probably be more productive in a different way. But yeah, I'm not mad at all how it's gone, but just little bits of room for improvement. And then in day 7, day 7 was the easiest because I planned a little day trip out, and I was, up at 5:30 in the morning and out until 3, so, and I was really glad that, or what I think worked really well, was that I had done this kind of, for lack of a better term, detox 4 days before, so I was kind of in the swing of it and feeling good with it, but, so my focus and my dopamine, or my brain was in a good spot. That's the last day done. Feel pretty good about it. Nothing really feels like, oh, I cheated this. I mean, there's a couple, I think it's like I've done these a couple times before. By a couple, probably a couple times, 2, maybe 3, and I was normally stricter on it. But that's probably also what made it, like, more doable and feel easy, and yeah, pretty happy with how this went, I think. Even set myself up with a little day trip, and it felt like part of the reason that I did, or the main reason that I did, was because I was in a good headspace with all the, like, with the lack of, just brain rotting, doom scrolling. I felt like I was in a good space and wanted to do something, so I was able to set up a little day trip. But yeah, pretty happy with how that went. Or like everything was kind of back, and it was like, oh, I want to go somewhere, I want to do something, so I kind of planned that. That's when I started planning this little day trip, was day 5, and then it kind of carried through, and then there have been times where it's like I plan something like that, or like maybe not even to that extent, but I get up that morning and I'm just like, I don't want to go. Whereas that wasn't nearly as much of a thing on this time. It was like, yeah, I'm just excited to go and let's go have a good day. Now, the things that I've kind of noticed throughout it is the thing that I'm the happiest about and like noticed the most is that I am more connected, I think, with how I feel and what I want. I think yesterday, or basically it was like after the 7 days, like I haven't gotten back on anything, but it was like the day after, I think I played too much Stardew Valley. I have to flex little Stardew Valley farm that I've built up over the past, well, more than the past week, but primarily over the past week. I feel like it's not looking too bad for my first time that I've ever actually made it to summer. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. The money's looking nice. The Grow Fairy, which I don't know if she always nices you, but she niced me real good with the blueberries and the summer squash and a couple radishes on the first day of summer, and was like I think I played it for a couple hours, and I was just like, after I got off, I was just like, my head, there's too much. Or like with what I'm eating, it's like when I'm eating poorly or not drinking enough, I feel that more and more actively, which is overall I think a really good thing. Obviously it's like when you feel bad, you actually feeling bad versus kind of being numb to it and not really feeling it. So it's like, yeah, you feel bad, but it's good that you feel bad because you can actually manage it and then feel good. The other thing that I've noticed is that I think it's almost like my tolerance is lower. Like I said, like with the Stardew Valley day, where it was like, yeah, I played for like 3, maybe 4 hours, and like when I had gotten off, I didn't feel great, like focus-wise or mentally, or energy. I can't exactly explain how it was, but it's like, whereas before it's like, yeah, I'd be on a screen watching stuff and getting that drip feed for like, I definitely had days where it was like 5-6 hours of that, whereas now it was like, oh, I was playing a game for like 3.5 hours, and I feel bad. And then lastly, just like I'd kind of mentioned with the day trip, it was like I feel that draw to like go out and do things rather than when I have free time just sitting and rotting. It's like, no, I want to go out and go to the park. I want to go out and get food. I want to go out. And there's just more of that kind of motivation and draw to like actually do stuff. And then overall, I really like doing these. That's just the reason that I do them. I always fall off of them afterwards. But like, I did one that was 14 days. I think it was last year, maybe 2 years ago. Because it's like, there's normally big gaps between when I do them. Because it's like, I do it, and then I'm pretty good for a bit. Like, I start, watching videos occasionally or whatever, but I'm pretty good for a bit, and then I fall off. But I do really like doing them, and I do think they're really helpful, and honestly, I'd recommend doing them if you're in that kind of position where you're like, I don't know exactly how to explain it, but it's like if you're really like feeling just like ugh, and you don't have like any sort of desire to do anything other than just sit and watch stuff, or if you're, I don't know, feeling like super down, pessimistic, but in a like numb kind of way, I'd recommend doing just like a little one and being a little more strict on yourself than I was with this one. But overall, I think that they're really, really good to do, and I really like doing them. And in the end, it's like, I think on this one specifically, I don't feel as like accomplished doing it because I've done stricter ones before, but it feels like I put myself in a good spot, and I like have a couple little things to tweak, but overall it feels very, very good. Another thing that I notice is that time feels longer. So like even though the day is like, you know, every once in a while they'll still feel like a short day, like I did a lot, it's like a week ago feels almost like a long time now, and it's like when I think back to what I was doing a week ago, I'm like, oh my god, that feels so long ago. And I think it's just because I was more actively present for longer periods of time. So even though maybe I wasn't for like 16 hours, it's not like the days themselves felt like they go by like in a second. And a week actually feels like a week ago feels like a long time ago, which was really nice. Like, it doesn't feel like just a blend where everything was the same, and it doesn't really feel like, and yeah, it's just nice feeling like time has slowed down. That's kind of all I have for this one. If this struck your fancy, I think it's a good thing to try out, even if it's just like, I'd say if if you can do it a day, I think doing a day is better than not, and just having a day where you don't really use anything like that. But if you can do it for like a week, I think it's a good thing to have it to try out and see if it's for you. But yeah, that's all I really have. See ya.